Shabbat Shalom. We're really happy that you're joining us for our Shabbat services. A short time ago, we finished our Kids Shabbat, and Marcy wanted to begin the main service the same way we started the Kids service, with Marcy's favorite song, Bim Bam. And she also wanted all of us to follow the same hand motions. That's a good time really to stretch a little bit, right? Let's stretch a little, open our hands, close them, and let's bim bam a little.
Bim bam is a meditation.
Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Chiri bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Chiri biri biri bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam.
I hope you enjoyed our Bim Bam. And now it's time to think about all the good things that happened to us in the past week. And please share them on the chat box.
Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom. welcome the Sabbath bride with the words of the Chadodi. And for the last verse of the Chadodi, we rise and face the entrance to our space, our sanctuary, our home, the room that we're in. As we welcome in Shabbat bride.
בואי ושנו עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת
If you're standing, it's time to sit down. Rabbi Brett, did anyone share any good things that happened to them this week?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, we have to have at least one good thing, so we'll have another chance later.
I got one comment. I like the closer camera. So I guess that's a thing of gratitude.
Okay, that passes. It has been a very tough week.
בלילות, אמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני,
טוב להודות.
טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד ולזמר לשמך העליון, טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, אמונתך בלילות, אמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני.
We have things that we are thankful for. Fran is thankful to be able to celebrate Shabbat with her parents. Lindsay Klatsko and Lissa Schwab are grateful for Fran. Sheila Edelman is grateful for her family in the Northeast came through the storm safely. Oh, and another vote for the closer camera that is so clear. Angels?
Either angels or closer camera. I don't know.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharim, Malachi Elyon.
Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה לעילם. כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, גם ירד מעלם ויאמרו אמן.
And before we rise to the Baruch Hu, we would normally invite you to wish each other Shabbat Shalom. We hope you'll do so in the chat box. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us who's watching. If you're able and comfortable doing so wherever you are, we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship, the call to community.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Peace comes with the sunset. Cool breezes ease the heat of the day. All things settle into stillness. The gentle song of crickets. Moonrise and the silence of night. Give us shelter in your presence. Bring peace to those who yearn for peace. Enfold us in your quiet. Let our fears find rest in you. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamidim lo chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari
If you are still standing, this is a good time to be seated, be comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Let's take another deep breath in and breathe out. And as we continue to breathe in and out very slowly, this is the time to have our weekly conversation with God as Shabbat is just about to begin. This week, many of us have a lot to talk to God about as we lost a very close friend way too soon. Some of us have tough questions for God that nobody can answer. Some of us want to pray that God will help all the mourners, all the bereaved among us. Some of us may want to thank God for all the gifts we have in our life. Doesn't matter so much what we say to God, as long as we pause and we listen. Listen with our hearts, listen with our souls. Let's take another deep breath in. And let's breathe out our pain of the past week. Let's try now, even for a limited time, to let go of everything we need to let go of. as together we're saying the words of Shema Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
And we slowly open our eyes.
We continue with the next paragraph of the Shema. And you shall love Ve'ahavta.
Et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levacha Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing, for you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming, to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah, Adonai, haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu, el kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We'll be joining together in the Misha Berach and the prayer for healing in just a moment. If you have the name of someone you're thinking of who is in need of healing, please share it with us in the chat box below. We continue now with Vishamru, the song for the Sabbath day.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levarach et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה ישלח
I'm not going to talk tonight about the diplomatic treaty between Israel and the United Arab Emirates for two reasons. One is that we don't have enough details, and I believe that in the following days we'll get all the juicy, interesting stuff. The other reason is that we need more than my allocated sermon time. So here's what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to start services as always at 7 p.m. But if you want to join me for a discussion, actually it will be more of a lecture because we cannot use Zoom for that. If you want to hear what I have to say about it, I will do it at 6 p.m. next Friday, just before services. Okay, so next Friday, if you want to hear about this treaty, please just follow us on live stream as you normally do for services at 6 p.m. And at 7, we will continue with our regular service. So after I told you what I'm not going to talk about, what am I going to talk about tonight? This week, one of the greatest giants of all times, Talmudic giants, died. His name was Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, and he died at the age of 83 in Jerusalem. Even Time magazine called him as one in a millennium scholar. Today, I want to tell you a little bit about his life project and the reaction to this project in different parts of the Jewish world. For middle school and high school, I was sent to a yeshiva. There were two main differences between my yeshiva and normal schools. One, it was only for boys, and two, in addition to all the regular subjects that everyone studies, we spent many hours every day studying Talmud. The days were long. We started at 7:30 a.m. and the day ended at 5:30 p.m. I loved it. I loved the yeshiva. I loved Talmud. Now, every Sunday, just to remind you, Israel's day off is Saturday, Shabbat. So Sunday is a regular day in Israel. So every Sunday, we had a Talmud test. Why test on a Sunday on the Talmud? Because our teacher, who was a rabbi, Rabbi Schwartz, wanted us to study Talmud on Shabbat, right? It's a win-win situation. And we had to do it because the test was quite hard. So we had to, normally we went to somebody's house and spent several hours studying Talmud in order to be prepared for the test the next day. On one of these occasions, I remember I went to this house. The name of the kid was Yaakov. He showed us a book that none of us has seen before. But before I'll show you the book, I want to show you a regular, I'll come back, copy of the Talmud. This is a Talmud. Okay, this is the typical, what we call the Vilna edition of the Talmud. The Jews have been using the Vilna itself for about 200 years, but similar editions for many, many years, hundreds of years. The Talmud has almost 6,000 pages. It's written in a mixture of ancient Aramaic and rabbinical Hebrew. And when you look at this text, here you have the Talmud. It's written in Hebrew, but it has no vowels, doesn't even have punctuations. So you don't just read the Talmud. You need to decipher it. You need to interpret it. You need to understand all these difficult words. And that takes a lot of time and effort. So when we went to Yaakov's house, he showed us something that we have never seen before. He showed us another edition, a brand new edition of the Talmud that is called the Steinsaltz Talmud. Because this man I just mentioned, Adin Steinsaltz, started this edition, and luckily for all of us, he finished. Let me show you the page of the Steinsaltz edition. Still in Hebrew, here in the middle we have the text of the Talmud with two differences. We have vowels, which make it much, much easier because most of these words are not familiar even to people who speak modern Hebrew, and it has punctuations. It has periods and commas and semicolons and everything we need. But not only that. So what Steinsaltz did was to translate the ancient text to modern Hebrew, and then he added an explanation of the Talmud. I know that it might be hard to appreciate, but before that edition, very few people had the skills to understand what the Talmud says. It was very hard. And all of a sudden, we had this Steinsaltz Talmud, and the Talmud became accessible to anyone who wanted to study Talmud. Who is this Rabbi Steinsaltz? Rabbi Steinsaltz was born to a secular family in Jerusalem, but then as a teenager, he was attracted to religion, and his parents encouraged it. He still went to a regular university. He studied mathematics, chemistry, and physics, and at the age of 23, was the youngest school principal in the history of Israel. While being a school principal, he started his hobby. And this Steinsaltz edition of the Talmud was his hobby. He realized that the Talmud is probably the greatest treasure that we, the Jewish people, have. But the way that it's written and the way people study it, only a tiny fraction of people have an access to it. And he said, wow, we have this treasure. I want anyone to be able to take advantage of this treasure, to study, to learn from it. After he finished the Hebrew translation, which took many, many years, it was translated to English, to French, to Russian, and even to Spanish. Back to my school years. So after we found the Steinsaltz edition, Talmud turned from a very difficult subject to quite easy. And normally when we had to study 2-3 hours for a test, now we could do it in 20 minutes and then had plenty of time to hang out. Many of us bought the Steinsaltz edition. One day, one of the friends brought it to school, and some of us were gathering around him. Probably we had a test and we needed to check something. And as we're sitting and looking at the Talmud, the Steinsaltz edition, our teacher, Rabbi Schwartz, comes and asks, guys, what are you looking at? Now, teenagers normally are caught doing something wrong, but we're not sure what was wrong. And again, he said, what are you looking at? Just like he caught us looking at, I don't know, Miss November of 1981. Not that we knew that things like that ever existed. And we said, Rabbi, we're studying Talmud. And said, that's not a Talmud, look, let me look. And he looked at it, and he looked at us, and he said, I never want to see you looking at this book. Don't bring it to school, and don't even use it at home. If you use it, you'll never learn how to study Talmud properly. And besides, he said, there are some dangerous ideas in this book. Get rid of it. Now, you may think that Rabbi Steinsaltz, who interpreted and translated the Talmud, was a liberal, perhaps, God forbid, reformer, conservative rabbi. No, he wasn't. He was an ultra-Orthodox rabbi who had this life project. So why did my rabbi, as well as the greatest Lithuanian rabbis in Jerusalem, Rabbi Shach and others, boycott it? They told the people to take it out of their homes and throw it on the streets. Why is that? So our rabbi said, as I mentioned before, because if we do it, it's too easy. We'll never really learn how to study Talmud properly. I think it goes much deeper. I think that some of the ultra religious authorities were quite afraid that anyone now will have an access to a book. It's not a book. Normally it comes in 37 volumes, a compilation that only a tiny minority had. Now, when they say something, the Talmud says, everyone can open the Steinzelt edition and actually check what the Talmud says. Before that, we had to believe to what they said. Remember what the philosopher Bacon and Foucault taught us. Knowledge is power. And what Steinsaltz did was to spread the knowledge of Talmud among everyone, which by definition diminished the power of some of the greatest halachic authorities. For example, they could tell us before, the Talmud says that women are not allowed to read from the Torah. But now we can ask, okay, show us in the Talmud where it's written. And of course, it's not written in the Talmud. All of a sudden, everyone can question them. Everyone can access this book or this treasure, read it themselves, reach their own conclusions. But Rabbi Steinsaltz did not really care. It was too important for him to make the Talmud accessible, so he translated it all. He also was able, during that time, to write 60 different books on different subjects, mostly Jewish subjects, but also about zoology. That was one of his passions. And thanks to him, our greatest treasure, the core of our Jewish library, which is older than 2,000 years, is open to us all. So I want to thank Rabbi Steinsaltz, not only for helping me to excel my Talmudic studies in middle school and high school, but really to enable hundreds of thousands of people to read, to study, to understand the Talmud. Shabbat Shalom.
If you'd like to share the name of someone who has died recently or at this time in seasons past, please share it with us so we may honor their memory during the Mourner's Kaddish.
שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah and Rachel, bless and heal those who are ill. Do we have some additional names?
We do. Madeline, Madeline Robertson, Joanne Friedman, Susan Green, Stephanie Maines, Virginia Hoynoski, Mom Geiser, Bella Leno, Johan Mostonen, Sandy Grossman Dworkin, Nancy Drexler, Basha Stein. We join together, Misha Bera.
Misha Bera, Avoteinu, Mikor HaBaracha, Le'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha
of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We begin to conclude our service with the words of the Aleinu. All you have to do is repeat after us.
להשבותה
להשבותה
אל לבבך,
אל לבבך,
כי אדוני
כי אדוני
הוא האלוהים,
הוא האלוהים
נאמן, היה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ.
ביום
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד,
ושמו
ושמו ושמו אחד.
Our hearts and thoughts turn now to our loved ones who have passed in years past. Remember Lila Siegel, sister-in-law of Myrna, David Derenstein, father of Sharon, Zelda Becker, mother of Harold, Howard Hare, father-in-law of Judy, Sally Schlesinger, mother of Marilyn, Anne and Bill Murphy, parents of Maureen, Beatrice Mendelssohn, mother of Paula and grandmother of Josh, Benjamin Falk, father of Harvey, Wendy Fox, sister of Lee, Lillian Goldman, grandmother of Lisa and Bill, Harold Disdainer, father of Dan, Nathan Kushner, grandfather of Andrew, Ethel Stepp, mother of Anne and grandmother of David, Robert Stern, father of Jody, Harold Newman, father of Bob, Julius Erlanger, father of Doris, Ted Silberstein, brother of Beverly, Harold Rubenstein, husband of Judy and father of Mark, Marilyn Greitzer, mother of Nina and grandmother of Tana, Samuel Isaac Schiller, brother of Louis, Harry Seltzer, father of Artie, Stephen Shakerich, father of Orrin, Andy Bruno, father of Barbara and grandfather of Andrew, Dolores Gold, aunt of Bob, Rhoda Schwartz, wife of Alan, Arnold Torbin, father of Michael, Ruth Schwartz, mother of Harriet and grandmother of Craig, Ida Weinschelbaum, sister of Jerry, Meyer Weisbord, father of Stuart, Marvin Zion, brother of Herb. On the occasion of Shloshim, the month of mourning, remember today Martin Silberstein, brother of Beverly, Aaron Cohen, uncle of Bruce, Krena Levitt, wife of Alan, Moise Ergas, father of Emery, David Berenson, husband of Bunny and father of DS. Taken from their family this week, remember David Green, brother of Marcy. And we remember Amy Russell, wife of Brian and mother of Kevin, Hannah, and Sydney. Amy died at the age of 43 after battling for many years with cancer. She was the head of the PTO of our one school. She was a board member. She was the best friend of dozens of people. She was the most selfless person anyone ever met. And she was so much more, and we say it not because she died young, but because she was really, one in a million. Remember all of our loved ones as we say the words of the Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועל מה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. And to lead us in the Kiddush, we invited the Cohn family to join us, of course, virtually. Ready, Cohn family?
ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחול השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבו ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Sabri.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzah banu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
L'chaim, and thank you. If any of you would like to lead us in Shabbat candles or the Kiddush, please let us know, and you're welcome to send your video, and we would be very happy to share it with all of us. Oh, actually, you can do a motzi too, right? Or that's only Marcy can do. I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
המוציא לך מן הארץ. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen.
shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
So next Friday, if you would like to rise early and be at the beach at 6:30 a.m., you're welcome to join us for a brief service and blowing off the shofar, because this is the first day of the month of Elul, a month before Rosh Hashanah. That's 6:30 a.m. If you want to participate in the discussion about the treaty between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, join us at 6 p.m. and Shabbat services, as always, at 7 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oseh shalom.
Shalom. Miroma. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Uyase, uyase, uyase shalom. Alleluia.